Hello everyone. I think Daishou deserves some fluff after all he had been through recently. So, happy slightly belated birthday to my beloved snake boy. Special thanks to my lovely patrons. You are keeping this channel going. Sighing, Daishou adjusted the mug in his hand, trying to find at least a somewhat comfortable holding position. With his wrist broken and his other palm still healing from being pierced through, he was slowly getting used to the pain accompanying every waking moment of his day. He wished he could at least talk properly, but his voice was still raspy, and talking for longer periods of time hurt like all hell. But fortunately, Terushima's injury was healing well, which was the greatest news he had received in the last 2 weeks. If it wasn't for the plaster stuck to his head, he wouldn't even be able to tell his boyfriend was ever injured. All's well that ends well, I suppose. He tried to lift the mug to his lips again, but his fingers gave up almost immediately, sending the mug crashing back on the table. He flinched and jumped back to avoid getting burned by the tea, despair bubbling in his chest. Damn it! What was that? Daishou cringed inwardly when Terushima swiftly appeared next to him and immediately started to clean the spilled tea. Are you okay? Yeah, Sorry. It's okay, nothing horrible. Better than cutting yourself. Terushima's tone was as cheerful as ever, his usual smile ever present on his face, and yet Daishou felt his heart sinking deeper. He knew he could call Terushima whenever he needed help with something, but that wasn't something he wanted. He put him through enough trouble already, and he refused to have Terushima do everything for him, no matter how difficult it made his life. Sorry. Terushima paused, the smile disappearing from his lips. He kept Daishou's cheek, his eyes scanning his face as if looking for something. What's wrong? And don't say nothing, I can see that sad face of yours. Despite everything, Daishou cracked a small smile. You know me well, huh? I do, which is exactly why I know something's troubling you. What is it? Sighing deeply, Daishou leaned his forehead against Terushima's stomach, shivering slightly when the gentle fingers ran through his hair. I'm making your life difficult. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? I'm adding work on you. You mean this? Oh, come on, that's nothing. And if you mean taking care of you, then that's not making anything difficult for me. He moved back a bit, just enough to take Daishou's face in his palms. I'm just doing what a good boyfriend should. And because I know you would take care of me too if we switched places. So I don't want to hear anything like this again, okay? But... Shush. No putting yourself down. Yuji. I'm not listening. Unless it's something nice. Then I'm listening. Daishou gave up, knowing he had no chance to win when Terushima set his mind on something. And judging by Terushima's smile, that was exactly what he was going for. You're impossible. Terushima's grin widened. Yeah, I heard that a lot, but from you, love, I'll take it as a compliment. His face softened again, his thumbs gently caressing Daishou's cheeks. Say, why don't we go outside now? It'll help you come to different thoughts. Daishou paused. Where? Just garden. I have a surprise for you. Daishou tilted his head, but got up when Terushima motioned for him to head to the back door. He noticed Terushima was doing something in their garden since morning, but his every question was met with a mysterious smile, so he eventually stopped asking, despite his curiosity eating him alive. Go ahead, I'm right behind you. Still very much confused, Daishou did as he was told and walked on the small patio they reconstructed just recently, squinting against the sun. But as soon as his eyes got used to the sharp light, his heart skipped a beat when he noticed the table decorated with colorful napkins and flowers, and with already prepared glasses and plates. In the middle of all that lay a box wrapped in green paper and tied by a ribbon. Yuji, what? Happy birthday, love. He turned around, his breath stuttering when he was met with the loveliest of smiles he knew. He glanced at the table and then back at Terushima, his vision hazing. You remembered? Terushima clicked his tongue. Of course I did. I'm offended you would think I could forget. That's not... I mean, there's been a lot happening recently and birthdays aren't that important. Shaking his head, Terushima leaned closer to bump their foreheads together before he lightly nudged his shoulder. They are important when they are yours. And exactly because there was so much awful stuff happening lately, I think you deserve a nice, peaceful evening. Daishou was rendered speechless for a moment, his mind taking its time to comprehend everything around him. He let Terushima lead him to the table, his hands trembling slightly when he fully took in all the flower decor and the snacks Terushima put on the table. Please don't let this be a dream. As if reading his thoughts, Terushima gently pinched his cheek. You are very much awake, dear. Come on, let's dig in before the bugs find it. Oh, wait! He rushed inside before Daishou could say anything, returning not even 5 seconds later with a jug filled with faintly pink liquid and a lot of ice. He flashed him an apologetic smile as he poured what Daishou recognized as peach iced tea, sticking a long straw into the glass. I almost forgot your favorite. Daishou could about melt there and then. Or cry, he wasn't sure. It had been years since he last celebrated his birthday, and even though he didn't mind going through the year without celebration, he couldn't stop the surge of fond ache spreading from his heart. He took a little testing sip of the tea, memories he thought long forgotten flooding his mind. Mika always made this one too. He stopped himself too late, the guilt for mentioning his ex-girlfriend at the moment like this hitting him like a truck. But Terushima just chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. Yeah, I had to call her for the correct recipe. I'm not sure if it tastes right though. It's great. This whole thing and everything, it's amazing. Thank you. Terushima let out a relieved breath after his words, his shoulders relaxing. Alright, that's good. I'm glad you are happy. Much more than that. He reached over the table to clasp Terushima's hand in his, giving it as firm of a squeeze as his broken bonds allowed him to before entwining their fingers. You are the best thing that happened to me in my life, Yuji. You know that? This... I can't put into words how grateful I am. For everything, not just the tea and birthday. A faint pink tint appeared on Terushima's cheeks. I'm just happy I can see you smile. You deserve the world, you know. He shook his head as if to chase away the sorrow that suddenly appeared in his eyes, and smiled as he pushed the wrapped box towards Daishou. Come on now, open it. Daishou carefully removed the paper, his breath getting caught in his throat when he opened the box and revealed a succulent planted in a clearly hand-decorated pot, and right next to it, an adorable seal plushie. Yuji, that... I don't know what to say. Did you paint that pot? Yeah. Is it that visible? No, I didn't mean it in a bad way. It's adorable. I love it. Terushima visibly relaxed. Okay, good. You scared me a bit there. Daishou mentally kicked himself for his inability to express himself properly. He hugged the plushie to his heart, taking note of how soft the fur was. Terushima had to notice his adoration and smiled. It's for when you'll have to go away to some training camp or something. It will keep you company. Daishou could really cry at that moment. He bit hard on his lip, trying his hardest to stay composed. But as he once again took in the amount of effort Terushima put into creating a nice day for him, going as far as to call Mika for help to make his favorite tea, he couldn't find the strength to hold back. He squeezed the plushie as the first tears rolled down his cheeks, and yet all he could feel was the pleasant warmth he got to know since the sun entered his life. A moment later, he found himself engulfed in an even warmer embrace, the soft words whispered into his ears melting his heart. He wished he could put all the emotions into words, to tell Terushima just how much he meant to him, to tell him just how much his love meant to him. But his voice betrayed him, leaving him just clinging to his boyfriend and hoping it was enough to carry the unspoken words across. Though... He took a shaky breath and pulled away a bit. Can I try something? Terushima tilted his head in confusion, but nodded, his eyes widening ever so slightly. Sure, but would you... Minding his injuries, Daishou carefully laid his still trembling hands on Terushima's cheeks. He leaned their foreheads together for a short moment, gathering courage for the next step. Come on, you can do this. He deserves it. He deserves to know. Sugu? Taking a deep breath, Daishou closed his eyes and took a leap. It was barely a brush of their lips, the touch lasting a mere second or two, but for him, it felt like an electric jolt ran through his whole body. He left his eyes closed even after he backed away, too scared to look up, his lower lip quivering and heart hammering into his ribs. I love you, my sunshine. For a while, a complete silence settled around them, and Daishou cringed inwardly. But before he could open his mouth to apologize, he found himself crushed in Terushima's arms and stunned by the soft, hitched sobbing by his ear. I love you too. So much. A wet chuckle escaped his mouth. You have no idea how happy I am I have you. And how proud I am of you. You are amazing, you know that? That's my line. Terushima let out a soft laugh, carefully pulling Daishou closer. But today it's you who's amazing. Thank you, love, for being so brave. Daishou's voice got caught in his throat, but at that moment, he supposed it didn't matter. He no less than melted in Terushima's arms, and he could swear he felt new life pumping through his veins. Or perhaps it was happiness. He dismissed those thoughts, focusing only on here and now. As long as he could feel his son by his side, the path ahead was always going to be bright.